So you ended up going away for 20 years, right? About 20 years. Can you give us the background story on that and what was that experience like for you?
The background story. Like I said, I was running around like a wild knucklehead. I wound up with some armed robbery, kidnapping, aggravated assault, unlawful use with handcuff charges. And, when you're fighting drama like that at that time, that's real time. Those are big, huge charges. You know what I'm saying? So I got my time. I was uneducated. I didn't even have a GD at the time. You know what I'm saying? I dropped out, I think,
How old are we talking?
93,
So you're like 18,
19,
19 at the time,
19.
and you're facing
Yeah,
20 years basically.
a bunch of robbery charges.
Right. And so what is your thought process at this time when you finally get arrested and you're facing the trial and all that time?
Oh wow. You're in shock. You're now trying to adjust to a jungle and there's no way out. They used to call me the $1 million man. That was my bond, $1 million. You know what I'm saying? There's no going home. It's you gotta fight and live here. And at that age, man, I just minded my business and did my time. You know what I'm saying? And that was like probably the number one rule of the penitentiary: mind your own business. You know what I'm saying? I got sentenced, man, and it took me the first 10 years to sit my ass down. I was catching staff assaults. I was getting caught with, weapons.
So you was in there wilding for the first 10
Of
years.
course, they threw me straight to a max joint. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I trip out how, they talk about Rikers Island and the places in New York where these guys are cuffing razor blades in their butt and stuff, right? It wasn't none of that where we was at. Wasn't nobody. You might have had, a mule that you might pay to and send take on a visit so he could pack his booty, but for some, for some weed or, some contraband. But people were like grabbing the rails, going to the library and breaking the rails that hold the drawers in the library. And people had shanks, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it was a while. Stateville was a very, very, very violent atmosphere.
So prior to going into prison, right? Like your mind state at that time, were you just seeing like there's not really a future for yourself?
I was lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? I was a kid, just pretty much, I guess, trying to be cool, trying to get high, and just trying to have money in my pocket because I was already independent at that time.
Right. And when you say high, you're talking just smoking weed?
Yeah, smoking weed, get drunk.
Hmm. And do you remember like your mom's reaction when you went in?
Yeah, she was heartbroken, you know.
That must have been real hard for you to see that.
Yeah, yeah. It was even tougher when they gave me that sentence and she broke down in court with the soon as they said how many years she, you could hear, you know what I'm saying? That was a heartbreaker. Another time I remember, my mom, she was very, very loyal on visits and a birthday card, Christmas card, and I hadn't heard from her maybe like 4 to 5 months, which was odd. And she had a stroke. She was in the hospital and she recovered, thank God. And but those are like helpless times when you locked up, you can't do shit. What you gonna do?
Right. And I mean like I can't even imagine because obviously she was like the closest person to you, right? She's the one that stuck around. She's the one that really loved you and took care of you. And you being in that position, knowing that you can't be there for her when she needs you the most.
Yeah, yeah.
So take us through that. Like you must have, it's probably one of those times where you really broke down when you were in prison, right?
Prison is a tough place, man, to break down at. You know, at all. You can't never let them see you grin. If not, they think they in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Like the sharks, they taste the blood They on you, right?
Yeah, so I never really had breakdown moments. I had, you know, I seen guys play the role, bro, like eat light bulbs, stick shit up their dick so they can go to an outside hospital because they can't take it and they just got to get away and cut themselves or be in the med line waiting on medication. You know what I'm saying? And man, I just had a lot of faith the first 10 years I felt so strong uh, in my mind. And I was a little arrogant and cocky, I guess, at the same time that I knew I could make it. But once after the first 10 years, I was like, man, fuck this. I need my GED. I got that. I need my associates. I got that in science when I was locked up. And I started preparing myself to come home. You know what I'm saying?
Was there like an experience you had that made you want to switch it up?
Yeah. And it was when they pretty much took control of the penitentiaries. And when I say they, I mean the state IDOC. You know what I'm saying? It made it very uncomfortable. I seen a guy get released 9 times and come back. I used to look at this idiot and I used to be like, man, just give me one chance. I ain't coming back. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, watching 9/11, you know what I'm saying? Moments like that where you might die in prison. You might, you know what I'm saying? All that just maybe really gave me the hope and drive. My mom getting older, my brother getting older, my daughter getting older, needing me. All them factors, man, just made me, I guess, really mature and grow the fuck up.
Right. So what age did you have your daughter?
19,
19. Oh, so right before you went in.
right? Yeah, right before.
And were you able to cultivate a relationship still? Like was she like, or was that came later on in life?
Yes, that came later on in life. We're cool as hell now. You know, we started a relationship right before I got out. I was trying to get custody of her because she had went through some things with her stepdad, and that didn't work out. Um, so we had to wait for my release. And upon me first getting released, she came to stay with me for a while. We worked on a relationship, and man, God bless her. She's, we just talked this morning. You know what I'm saying? She lives about 3 hours from Chicago in Michigan, and it's dope. She's also been through some shit, but it's pretty much made her who she is. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, that's amazing that you guys were able to build that relationship, right?